You have been told that riches are the product of arithmetic. You have been instructed from your earliest days that prosperity is the simple reward for long hours, for hustle, for sweat upon the brow. You have been led to believe, by a society that fears failure, that success is a matter of circumstance, that it is a game of timing, that it is a roll of the dice we call luck. I am here this day to tell you, as one who has spent a lifetime in the study of the architects of human fortune, from the titans of industry to the quiet builders of empires, that you have been told a half-truth, and a half-truth, when it is accepted as the whole, is the most dangerous, the most potent, and the most crippling lie of all. Why is it so dangerous? Because it places the power outside of you. It makes you a victim of your ledger book, a slave to the clock, a cork floating on the ocean of circumstance. Today, we begin the great work of reclaiming that power, and we begin by dismantling, brick by brick, the prison of false belief that has held mankind in chains for centuries. Let us examine the first lie, the one that is taught in our finest institutions, the lie that wealth is a function of mathematics. You are told, save your pennies, balance your budget, cut your expenses, understand profit and loss, learn the percentages. This is sound advice, but it is not the secret. If wealth were truly a matter of arithmetic, the richest men in the world would be the accountants, the bookkeepers, the financial analysts. They are the masters of the ledger. They can trace every dollar. And yet, so many of them, diligent and brilliant as they are, live lives of quiet limitation. They manage the fortunes of other men, but they do not build their own. Why? Because they are trained to look down at the numbers that are. They are experts in what is. The man of fortune, the man of achievement, is trained to look up, to look within, to see the numbers that are not yet. He is an expert in what can be. The bank ledger only records the past. It is a history book of your financial transactions. It is a tombstone of dead facts. But riches are born in the present, in that vibrant, silent workshop of the mind. They are born not from calculation, but from imagination. Consider the man who wishes to build a great enterprise. If he goes first to the banker will pull out his ledger. He will say, where is your collateral? What are your assets? The numbers do not add up. Your plan is impossible. The banker, ruled by arithmetic, sees only risk. But the man of faith, the man of vision, he does not see the ledger. He sees the factory that is not yet built. He hears the hum of machinery that is not yet forged. He feels the gratitude of customers who have not yet arrived. He lives in a reality that the accountant cannot calculate. He understands that the idea, the definite, burning purpose comes first. The mathematics are secondary. The money, the resources, the logistics, they are mere servants to the master of a burning desire. You see, arithmetic can tell you how to manage money, but it can never tell you how to create it. Creation is an act of the spirit. It is an act of the subconscious mind. The universe is not a bank vault. It is a sea of energy. It does not respond to your accounting. It responds to your vision. So I ask you, are you living your life by the dead facts of your bank account? Or are you living by the living truth of your imagination? You have been taught to be realistic. But realism is often just an excuse to think small. It is the anesthetic that society gives you to numb the pain of an unlived potential. The man who built the first railroad across this continent was not realistic. The men who dreamt of a machine that could fly were not realistic. The woman who saw a world where all could vote was not realistic. They were, in fact, in direct opposition to the realism of their day. They were masters of a higher mathematics, the mathematics of faith. So let us be done with this first lie. Respect arithmetic. Yes, use it as a tool, but do not worship it. Do not let it sit on the throne of your mind. That throne is reserved for one thing and one thing only, your definiteness of purpose. Let us now turn to the second, and perhaps the most pervasive, lie. The lie that wealth is the direct result of effort, the glorification of the grind, the worship of hustle. We are told a story. It is a story of nobility and suffering. We are told to rise and grind, to outwork the competition, to be the first one in the office and the last one to leave, to sacrifice your health, your family, your peace of mind on the altar of ambition. And yes, effort is required. Planning is essential. A definite plan, pursued with persistence, is a cornerstone of all success. But the world is filled, I want you to hear this, the world is filled with hard-working, intelligent, and decent men and women who will die penniless. Walk through any city. You will see men toiling under the hot sun, their bodies broken by decades of labor. You will see women working 2, even 3 jobs, their faces etched with exhaustion just to keep food on the table. Are they not hustling? Are they not putting in the hours? Are they not giving every ounce of their physical energy? If effort alone were the key, if hustle alone was the secret, these men and women would be the richest among us. But they are not. This contradiction should awaken you. It should shake you from your slumber. It is proof that the quantity of your effort is not the determining factor. It is the quality, the direction, and the mental attitude behind that effort. Let me present you with a parable. Imagine 2 men. Both are given the task of moving a mountain of stone. The first man is given a teaspoon. He believes in hustle. He wakes before the sun. He runs to the mountain. He begins to dig, his tiny spoon moving frantically. He sweats. He bleeds. He complains of the heat. He curses the size of the mountain. He tells everyone he meets how hard he is working. He is the very picture of the grind. At the end of his life, he has created a small pile of pebbles. He dies exhausted, frustrated, and poor. The second man is given the same task. But this man does not run to the mountain. He sits down. He closes his eyes. He thinks. He asks, what is the law of moving mountains? How can this be done intelligently? He spends his effort first in the world of thought. He conceives of a steam shovel. He imagines a conveyor belt. He organizes other men into a mastermind group. He draws a plan. His effort is not frantic. It is focused. It is not physical. It is mental. He directs his energy not at the stone, but at the solution. And in a fraction of the time, with a fraction of the physical sweat, the mountain is moved. An empire is built. Both men worked. But one worked from the outside in, driven by physical desperation. The other worked from the inside out, driven by mental vision. Hustle is the energy of chasing. It is the vibration of, I do not have enough. It is a frantic scramble for the crumbs that fall from the table. This is the very idea from our original lesson. You do not attract what you chase. You attract what you are. When you are hustling, you are screaming at the universe, I am in lack. I am desperate. I must force this to happen. And the universe, by the law of resonance, responds to your desperation by giving you more to be desperate about. It gives you more struggle, more resistance, more grind. Do not misunderstand me. Action is imperative. Persistent, intelligent action is the vehicle that carries your vision into reality. But blind, frantic, desperate hustle is a sin against your own potential. It is the act of digging with a teaspoon when the blueprint for a steam shovel is locked inside your own mind, waiting to be discovered. The true work is not the grind. The true work is the alignment. It is the work of aligning your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions with the inevitability of your success before the success has arrived. And this brings us to the third and most insidious lie, the great alibi for failure. The lie that wealth is a matter of circumstance. It is the whisper in your ear that says, you can't, you're too old, or you're too young, you can't, you were born on the wrong side of the tracks, you can't, you don't have the right education, you can't, you missed your chance, The timing is wrong. You can't. It's the economy. It's the government. It's them. This lie is the most poisonous of all, for it absolves you of all responsibility. It turns you into a permanent victim. A man of achievement, a man who has mastered his own mind, refuses this lie. He rejects it completely. He understands a profound and liberating truth. Circumstances do not make the man. They reveal the man to himself. Every titan of industry, every great leader, every true self-made man or woman I have ever studied was a master of transmuting circumstance. They did not wait for the right timing. They made the timing right by their own decision. They did not wait for luck. They created their own luck through persistence, planning, and an immovable faith. Andrew Carnegie was not born into wealth. He was born into poverty. He was a bobbin boy in a cotton mill. His circumstance was one of lack, but his mind was one of industry, of vision, of definite purpose. He did not see the mill. He saw a world built of steel. He acted on that vision, and circumstance bent to his will. Thomas Edison was not born into a world that wanted his inventions. He was told his ideas were foolish. His circumstance was one of ridicule and darkness. He failed, by his own admission, 10,000 times before he captured the light in a glass bulb. Where was luck in those 10,000 failures? Where was right timing in the face of a world that called him a fool? It was not there. He was there. His will was there. His faith was there. Luck, my friends, is a phantom. It is the excuse of the lazy and the alibi of the weak. What men call luck is simply the intersection of two things. One, preparation, the silent daily work of sharpening the mind, of defining the purpose, of building the plan. Two, opportunity. But here is the secret they do not tell you. The opportunity itself is attracted to the man who is prepared. The lucky break is not an accident. It is a resonance. The opportunity was always there, floating in the ether. But it could only land, it could only become visible to the mind that was tuned to its frequency. This is the law. You are complaining about bad breaks. I ask you, what are you broadcasting? You are complaining about bad timing. I ask you, is your purpose definite? You are complaining about your education. I ask you, have you tapped the infinite intelligence that is available to all through your own subconscious mind? Stop looking at your circumstances. They are the past. They are the record of your old thinking. If you change your thinking today, if you change your vibration, if you adopt a definite major purpose and back it with burning faith, your circumstances must and will change. The law demands it. So, we have torn down the false idols. Wealth is not math. Wealth is not hustle. Wealth is not luck. These things are tools. They are the effects, not the cause. The great half-truth, the lie, was in believing that these tools were the master. They are not. You are the master. Your mind is the master. The truth is this: there is another law, a silent, invisible, immutable law that governs all human achievement. It is the law that sits behind the mathematics. It is the law that directs the effort. It is the law that manufactures the luck. It is not about what you chase. It is about what you attract. It is not about your mathematics. It is about your alignment. It is not your effort. It is your energy. It is not your circumstance. It is your consciousness. There is a silent, invisible force that surrounds every human being, a field of energy that is the direct result of your dominant thoughts, your habitual emotions, and your deepest, most cherished beliefs. This force is a magnet. It speaks before you do. It negotiates your worth before you utter a word. It broadcasts your fears, or it proclaims your certainty. The mystics have called it many names. The scientists are only now beginning to measure it. But for our purpose, For the practical, tangible application of success, we shall call it your personal magnetism. This magnetism is the secret ingredient. It is this that makes one man's words land with power, while another man's words are ignored. It is this that draws opportunities, people, and resources to one person while they flee from another. It is this that determines whether your effort is a frantic dig with a teaspoon or the intelligent direction of an empire. And the most important news I can deliver to you today is this. This personal magnetism is not fixed. It is not granted at birth. It is not reserved for a chosen few. It is a muscle. It is a skill. It is a discipline. It can be trained. It can be strengthened. It can be directed. And that is the work we are here to do. The lies are now broken. The foundation is cleared. The question that remains is, are you ready to learn how to build? Yes. Let us now begin this great work. We have cleared the rubble of the great lies. We have seen that wealth is not a matter of mere arithmetic, for the accountants who manage fortunes rarely build them. We have seen that wealth is not the product of mere hustle, for the world is filled with hard-working men who die penniless. And we have seen that wealth is not a matter of luck or circumstance, for the titans of history were not recipients of circumstance, they were creators of it. Now, we stand upon the clear foundation. The lies are gone. And you ask, if these things are not the cause of riches, what is? The truth is what I call personal magnetism. This is the invisible force that surrounds every human being. It is the silent ambassador that enters a room before you do. It is the atmosphere of your mind, broadcast to the world. This magnetism, this energy, is the invisible ambassador that truly represents the nation of your inner self. Think of it this way. When an ambassador from a great and powerful country enters a negotiation, he does not need to shout. He does not need to beg. He does not need to prove his worth. The power of the nation he represents walks into the room with him. His very presence commands respect. His words carry weight, not because of their volume, but because of the authority they represent. Now, consider an ambassador from a small, bankrupt, and chaotic nation. He may wear the same suit. He may speak the same words, but he carries with him the atmosphere of chaos. He begs, he pleads, he makes concessions. He has no real power because the nation he represents has no power. You are the ambassador, and the nation you represent is your own subconscious mind. Your personal magnetism is this invisible field. It is the silent signal of your true self. It is not what you say you are. It is what you are. It is the sum total of your dominant thoughts, the sum total of your most deeply held beliefs, the sum total of your habitual, day-to-day emotions. It is not a fleeting thought. It is not what you wish for on a Sunday. It is your default. It is your average. It is the resting state of your mind. It is emitted from you unconsciously, consistently, and unapologetically. Before you pitch your idea, your magnetism has already set the terms. Before you ask for the raise, your magnetism has already declared your value. Before you seek investment, your magnetism has already communicated your certainty or your paralyzing doubt. Let us make this practical. Picture a man walking into an office to ask for a loan. This man has memorized his speech. He has all his figures. He wears his best suit. But for 20 years, his dominant, secret, internal conversation has been one of fear. I am not good enough. What if they say no? I am probably wasting their time. I always fail. The world is against me. He walks into that room, and though his mouth speaks of confidence, his magnetism, his aura, screams desperation. It reeks of failure. The banker on the other side of the desk, a man trained to read other men, feels this. He does not think it, he feels it. He feels an unexplainable resistance. He feels doubt. And though the numbers may be correct, the banker finds a reason to say, no. Now, picture a second man. He walks into the same office. He may not have the perfect suit. His figures may be built on vision rather than history. But for 20 years, his dominant, secret, internal conversation has been one of pure, unshakable faith. I cannot fail. The universe is aligned with me. This idea is necessary. The money is already mine. I am here only to collect it. He walks into that room, and his magnetism, his personal magnetism, fills the space. It is an energy of certainty, of calm, of power. He does not beg, he informs. The banker feels this certainty. He feels that he is in the presence of a winner, and suddenly he is the one afraid. He is afraid of missing out on this man's success, and the money is granted. What was the difference? It was not the words, it was not the suit, it was the invisible billboard, it was the silent broadcast. You do not attract what you want. This is the great tragedy of mankind. You do not attract what you wish for. You attract what you are. Let me tell you a parable. There is a beggar who sits outside the king's palace every day. He is cold, he is hungry, and he is miserable. He wants the warmth of the palace. He wants the food from the king's table. He spends all day wanting it. One day, the king, in an act of compassion, orders his guards to bring the beggar inside. They drag him into the great hall. They clean him. They dress him in fine silks. They seat him at the banquet table. And what does the beggar do? He trembles. He is terrified. The silk feels wrong on his skin. The richness of the food makes him sick. The confident chatter of the nobleman frightens him. He does not know how to be in this environment. His identity, his magnetism, is still beggar. And at the first opportunity, when the guards are not looking, he tears off the silks, he runs from the hall, and he returns to the cold, familiar misery of the street corner. He did not attract the palace. He was dragged into it. And because his internal state did not match his new environment, he had to sabotage himself to return to the state he was. This is why so many lottery winners go broke. This is why fortunes built on accident do not last. The man who wants success is still anchored in lack. He is the beggar, dreaming of the feast. But the man who believes in his success, the man who has cultivated an identity of wealth before the evidence has arrived, he vibrates as if it is already done. He is the king, even when he is standing in rags. And here, my friends, we find the great tragedy of humanity. If you are poor on the inside, if you carry doubt in your bones, if your secret internal self-talk, the words you speak to yourself when no one is listening, if that talk drips with the poison of scarcity, of envy, of self-pity, then I do not care how grand your ambitions are. I do not care how detailed your plans are. You will, by an infallible and impersonal law, sabotage your success at every turn. This is the law of resonance, and it is non-negotiable. It is not a nice idea. It is not a philosophy for dreamers. It is a law of the universe, as real and as unyielding as the law of gravity. If you drop a stone, it will fall. There is no argument. If you vibrate lack, you will attract lack. There is no argument. How does this sabotage work? It is not a bolt of lightning from the sky. It is subtle. You will, by this law, attract the wrong business partner, the one who mirrors your own internal chaos. You will, by this law, feel strangely repelled by the right opportunity, because your subconscious mind, your inner beggar, is terrified of the palace. You will, by this law, make the fatal error in your calculations. You will, by this law, forget to make the crucial phone call. You will, by this law, find yourself surrounded by other beggars, other complainers, who will validate your fears and anchor you in mediocrity. This is not bad luck. This is bad magnetism. It is the universe, which is a perfect and precise mirror, reflecting your true broadcast signal back to you. Every thought you think emits a signal, every single one. Every emotion you hold, whether it is for a second or for a decade, becomes a pattern. Every belief you adopt in the secret chambers of your heart, every belief you were taught by your broke parents or your cautious friends becomes a magnetic current. And that current is, at this very moment, doing one of two things. It is either pulling prosperity, opportunity, and aligned people toward you, or it is violently, powerfully repelling them from your field. You are, at this moment, either a magnet or a repellent. There is no middle ground. There is no neutrality. In every second of every day, you are either building your magnetism or you are destroying it. You are either tuning your signal to the frequency of abundance or you are tuning it to the frequency of lack. The man who spends his day in worry is actively practicing the art of repelling wealth. The man who spends his day in complaint is rehearsing for a life of poverty. The man who spends his day in envy of another's success is broadcasting a signal that says, "I do not have it, and I do not believe I can get it." The universe hears this broadcast. It does not judge you. It does not care if you are a good person. It is not a moral law. It is a law of physics. It hears your signal of "I do not have," and it obediently responds by giving you more of what you do not have. It hears your signal of "I am not worthy," and it obediently responds by sending you people and circumstances that treat you as if you are worthless. The law of resonance is non-negotiable. So I ask you, now, to pause and to think. What have you been broadcasting? What is the default station of your mind? Is it tuned to certainty or to doubt? Is it tuned to gratitude or to complaint? Is it tuned to courage or to fear? Because your life, right now, the money in your bank, the health of your body, the quality of your relationships, your life is a perfect, undeniable, and exact printout of your dominant broadcast. If you do not like the printout, you cannot change it by complaining about it. You cannot change it by hustling more. You cannot change it by wishing for better luck. You must change the signal. And this is where the real work begins. This is where we separate the dreamers from the doers. This is where we separate the beggar from the king. This is where most people fail. They hear this truth and they say, "I understand. My magnetism is weak. So I will pretend." And so we arrive at the great chasm, the place where millions of souls, having glimpsed the truth, fall into ruin. This is the place where most men fail. They have understood the lies. They have rejected that arithmetic or hustle or circumstance is the master. They have embraced the truth that their personal magnetism, their invisible broadcast, is the true cause of their results. And so, with this new and dangerous knowledge, they decide to lie. They decide to fake it. They try to fake confidence. They paste on a smile. They walk with a false bravado. They rehearse affirmations in the mirror which their own subconscious mind, that great, silent, all-knowing audience, flatly and violently rejects. They adopt the philosophy of acting as if, but they vibrate fear. They speak the words of abundance, but they feel the cold grip of lack. And the universe, my friends, is not fooled. Infinite intelligence is not impressed by your performance. It is not an audience to be entertained by your acting. It is a mirror, a perfect, flawless, and impersonal mirror. It is not impressed by your words. It is not impressed by your dreams. It does not read your carefully crafted business plan. It reads your signal. It reads your energy. It reads the truth of your personal magnetism. You see, your magnetism cannot lie. It is the one true thing about you. It is your energetic signature. It is the shadow cast by your soul, and it tells the truth, even when your lips do not. It is the perfect reflection of your internal, dominant truth. So I ask you, what are you truly broadcasting? Not what you hope you are broadcasting, not what you say in your affirmations, but what is the secret, habitual, default message of your being? Because this broadcast is a command, and it is a command that the universe must obey. If you are constantly, habitually, secretly anxious about money, if you check your bank account with a knot in your stomach, if you feel a jolt of panic when you pay a bill, then the message you send is not, I want wealth. The message you send is, I live in lack. I am a person of anxiety. I am a person who fears money. And the universe, the great mirror, hears your I am, and it must, by law, give you more circumstances to be anxious about. It must send you more unexpected bills. It must contract your opportunities to keep you in the state of being that you have declared as your identity. If you envy the success of others, this is a poison that men drink, thinking it will harm their enemy. When you see another man's victory and you feel a sting of jealousy, what are you broadcasting? You are broadcasting a declaration of scarcity. You are shouting into the void, there is not enough for me. His success has taken my share. The pie is limited. And the universe, hearing your dominant signal of not enough, obediently delivers to you a world of not enough. It closes doors. It hides opportunities. It proves your secret belief to be true, because that is its only job. And perhaps the most tragic signal of all, if you undercharge for your services, if you apologize for your price, if you get a great victory and you immediately feel the sting of imposter guilt, if you win and you feel deep down that you do not deserve it. What is this broadcast? It is the broadcast of the beggar who ran from the palace. The message you are sending, louder than any words, is, I do not believe in my own worth. I am not worthy of this. It is not safe for me to be this successful. And that signal, that becomes your ceiling. It becomes an invisible, unbreakable glass wall. You can hustle. You can grind. You can work 20 hours a day. You can be the first man in and the last to leave. But you will be like a fly, banging your head against that invisible glass, wondering why all your effort is not producing results. You are sabotaging yourself at an energetic level. You are running east, looking for a sunset. And no strategy, no amount of arithmetic, and no stroke of luck will save you. You cannot break through the ceiling of your own signal. You must raise the signal. Now, let us be perfectly clear, so that no one leaves this place in confusion. Your personal magnetism is not some mystical idea. It is not a fog of woo-woo philosophy. It is the physical, measurable, tangible result of your mental and emotional habits. It is built through repetition. It is shaped by focus. It is strengthened, or it is weakened, through daily mental discipline. You are, at this very moment, training your magnetism. You are not waiting for it to be strong. You are training it right now. Think of yourself as a gardener. Your subconscious mind is the rich, fertile soil. It does not care what you plant. It will grow whatever seed you give it, with perfect obedience. Every time you entertain a thought of fear, you have just planted a weed. Every time you hold a belief of limitation, you have just planted a weed. Every time you speak words of complaint, or gossip, or scarcity, you have just watered the weeds. And then you stand in your garden of weeds, a life of lack, frustration, and failure, and you wonder why you have no harvest. But every time you hold a thought of absolute faith, you have just planted a seed of corn. Every time you visualize your definite purpose as if it is already complete, you have just planted a seed of oak. Every time you act with courage, in spite of fear, every time you speak words of gratitude, every time you hold the feeling of wealth before it is here, you are watering your true harvest. You are training your magnetism. You are training your field. This is the great work. It is not acting. It is not pretending. Pretending is a lie to the conscious mind. It is a house divided against itself. The man who stands in the mirror and says, I am wealthy, while his heart is pounding with the feeling of, I am poor, is a man in a state of civil war. He is not affirming wealth. He is reminding his nervous system of the gap between his words and his reality. He is creating conflict. He is creating contradiction. And the universe does not reward confusion. It rewards clarity. It rewards congruence. So you ask, then how do I build this magnetism if I cannot fake it? You do not build it by faking. You build it by feeling. You build it by believing. This is the art of faith. This is not a wish. A wish is weak. A wish is the beggar asking for crumbs. This is not a hope. Hope is passive. Hope is a lottery ticket. Faith, applied faith, is a state of knowing. It is an emotional conviction. It is the art of impressing upon your subconscious mind a new truth, a new identity. You are not pretending to be wealthy. You are remembering that you are abundance. You are not acting confident. You in training the feeling of certainty. This field, this personal magnetism, this trained, disciplined, and focused aura of your dominant beliefs and feelings. This is what money listens to. Money is not paper. Money is not coin. Money is energy. It is a consequence. It is an effect. It flows, like water, to the path of least resistance. It flows to the man whose magnetism is not in conflict. It flows to the man who is an energetic match for it. It flows to the man who has trained himself to feel safe with abundance. It flows to the man who has trained himself to feel worthy of success. It flows to the man who has trained himself to feel calm in the face of power. It flees from the man who is chaotic. It flees from the man who is desperate. It flees from the man who feels like an imposter. So, if you truly desire wealth, stop trying to impress the world. The world is just a mirror. Stop polishing your words. Stop perfecting your act. Instead, impress your subconscious mind. That is the only audience that matters. And that, my friends, is the beginning of all true power. And so we stand at the great divide. We have seen the failure of the performance. We have seen the man who pastes on a smile, who shouts affirmations in the mirror, only to be betrayed by the feeling of lack in his heart. We have established that the universe is not an audience to be fooled by your acting. It is a perfect, flawless mirror. It does not read your words. It reads your signal. It reads your vibration. It reads your personal magnetism. So, if you truly desire wealth, if you are truly serious about this work, you must stop trying to impress the world. Stop trying to impress the banker. Stop trying to impress your neighbors. Stop polishing your resume. Stop perfecting your pitch. These things are shadows. They are the effects, not the cause. You are trying to polish the mirror, hoping the reflection will change. It is a fool's errand. The work, the real work, the sacred work, is to stop trying to impress the mirror and begin, at last, to impress the object that is casting the reflection. And that object, my friends, is your subconscious mind. This is the great silent workshop. This is the sleeping giant within you. This is the fertile soil that I spoke of. It is the captain who steers your ship, even as you, the conscious mind, pace the deck and look at the map. Your subconscious mind is the seat of your habits. It is the architect of your impulses. It is the director of your nervous system. It is the power that keeps your heart beating without your permission, that digests your food without your command. It is a faithful, powerful, and impersonal servant. It does not reason. It does not argue. It does not judge. It only accepts. It accepts your dominant thoughts. It accepts your habitual feelings. And it accepts them as commands. Once it accepts a command, it works tirelessly, night and day, to bring that command into physical, material reality. It uses all the forces of the universe. It directs your personal magnetism. It attracts or repels people. It creates coincidences, all to fulfill its directive. Here is the tragedy. For your entire life, you have been giving this giant servant the wrong commands. With your conscious mind, you wish for wealth. But with your habitual, dominant, secret feelings, you have been commanding poverty. You wish for success, but you have been commanding failure. You wish for confidence, but you have been commanding doubt. And this faithful servant, hearing your emotionalized command of, I am afraid, I am in lack, I am not worthy, has worked with perfect fidelity to give you a life that matches that command. This is why faking it fails. When you stand and say, I am wealthy, your conscious, reasoning mind, that small chattering part of you knows it's a lie. It says, no, you are not. Look at the bank account. But more importantly, your nervous system, the physical expression of your subconscious, knows it's a lie. It is trained for lack. And when you speak the word wealthy, it feels a jolt of conflict. It feels unsafe. This is the beggar in the palace. His nervous system was trained for the cold street. The warmth of the palace felt like a threat to his identity. And so, you must train your nervous system. You must train it to feel safe with abundance. You must train it to accept success as its new, normal, default state. If your body, if your nervous system resists wealth, if it associates riches with guilt or fear or the betrayal of your past, then you will unconsciously block every breakthrough. You will, by the law of your own being, sabotage every victory to return to the familiar misery of what you know. This is why the foundation of all lasting fortune is not in doing, it is in being, it is in training. Let me tell you something that will sound radical, but it is the absolute immovable truth. Wealth does not start in your wallet. The wallet is merely a record of past achievements, a history book of your former thoughts. Wealth does not start in your bank. The bank is just a storehouse. Wealth, true, lasting, magnetic wealth, starts in your imagination. It starts in that great silent workshop of the mind. It is in this mind's theater where all plans are created, where all battles are won, where all fortunes are first assembled. What you can hold in your imagination and impress upon your subconscious mind, the universe must deliver to you. This is the law. Let me ask you, can you do this? Can you hold the feeling of overflow, the feeling of security, of ease, of freedom, even when your accounts show no evidence of it? Can you walk like a person who is already free, even if the world has not yet caught up? Can you speak with the calm certainty of a man whose success is already a fact, even while you are still surrounded by the circumstances of your past? Most people cannot, and this is why they fail. They are addicted to external validation. They are slaves to the mirror. They need proof before they will believe. They wait for the bank account to change before they will feel wealthy. They wait for the world to applaud before they will feel confident. They wait for the lucky break before they will feel successful. They are living in reverse. They are waiting for the effect to change before they will change the cause. It is impossible. It is like waiting for your reflection in the mirror to smile first. It will never happen. You, the object, must smile first. And the mirror, by law, must smile back. The truly wealthy, those who build and keep lasting fortunes, those who are masters of personal magnetism, they believe first. Belief is not a consequence of their riches. Their riches are a consequence of their belief. This is applied faith. And faith is not a wish. It is not a hope. Faith is a decision. It is a mental substance. It is an emotionalized conviction held with such intensity, such certainty, that the subconscious mind has no choice but to accept it as a new blueprint. How do they do this? They rehearse success in the theater of their mind until it becomes inevitable. They do not just think about their goal. They live in it. The great architect does not just hope for a cathedral. He sees it. He stands inside it, in his imagination. He feels the coldness of the stone. He hears the echo of the choir. He smells the incense. He experiences it with all his senses, with such vivid feeling that his nervous system believes it is real. He holds this mental picture, this feeling, this conviction, with absolute, stubborn persistence. He is not faking it. He is creating it. He is building it. He is impressing this blueprint, this command, upon his faithful servant, the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind, now holding this new, dominant, emotionalized blueprint, begins to work. It broadcasts this new signal, this new personal magnetism, and suddenly, the architect, who is believing first, he accidentally meets the right investor. He happens to find the perfect piece of land. He gets a lucky break with the city council. It is not luck, it is resonance. It is the physical world, the mirror, rearranging itself to match the new, dominant image he holds within. The world did not catch up. The world obeyed. This is the secret of energy mastery. You must build your future internally, with applied faith, before a single dime shows up externally. You must become the wealthy man, the successful woman, the person of power, inside. Long before the world grants you the title, you are not acting as if, you are being as if. You are training your nervous system, your subconscious mind, to accept a new reality. This is the real work. It is not hustle. It is not arithmetic. It is the silent, daily, disciplined work of impressing your new identity upon the creative power within you. And that, my friends, is how you train your personal magnetism. That is how you stop repelling wealth and begin, at last, to attract it. You stop chasing it. You stop faking it. You simply become it. And the world, the great mirror, has no choice but to reflect the new king it sees. We stand now at the most critical juncture of our journey. We have unmasked the great lies of arithmetic, hustle, and circumstance. We have seen that the world is a flawless mirror, reflecting not what we chase, but what we are. We have exposed the failure of faking it, the futility of pasting a smile over a heart that is vibrating with fear. And we have discovered the true seat of power, that great, silent, sleeping giant within, the subconscious mind. We know that this faithful servant is the architect of our reality, the master of our personal magnetism, the force that broadcasts our signal to the universe. But now, we must face the most important and terrible question of all. If this giant is so powerful, why is it building a life I do not want? Why is it, in its infinite power, constructing a reality of lack, limitation, and quiet desperation? You have been giving this servant the wrong commands, but the truth is deeper than that. You did not write the original commands. You are running a program you did not install. You are living a life based on a script you did not write. And so, we come to the great work, the sacred work, the work that separates the master from the puppet. How, then, do you begin this great work? Step 1. You must reclaim authorship of your identity. You must, by a deliberate, conscious, and often violent act of will, erase the story that was written for you. This is the poverty sentence. It is the invisible judgment that was passed upon you before you could even reason for yourself. It is the code that was installed in your subconscious mind, and it is the master program that has been sabotaging your every move. You were not born poor. That is a biological circumstance. You were trained to think poor. That is a mental identity. You were not born in lack. You were conditioned to fear wealth. You were hypnotized, from your first breath, to accept limitation as your truth. Let us examine the authors of this false script. The first authors were your well-meaning and often loving parents. They, too, were victims of this same program. And from a place of love and caution, they began to install the code. Every time they said, "Money doesn't grow on trees," they gave your subconscious a command. Wealth is scarce and hard to acquire. Every time they said, "Be careful with that, we can't afford another," they gave your subconscious a command. There is not enough, and we live on the edge of loss. Every time they said, "Those rich people are greedy," or "Money is the root of all evil," they gave your subconscious the most poisonous command of all. To be wealthy is to be bad. To be rich is to be corrupt. To have money is to be unlovable. And so, your subconscious mind, that faithful servant, created a protective mechanism. It protects you from becoming bad. It protects you from being unlovable. And it does this by brilliantly, skillfully, and relentlessly sabotaging your every attempt to acquire wealth. Your poverty, my friends, may be the result of your subconscious mind trying to save your soul based on a false command it was given as a child. The second author of your poverty sentence was your education system, a system designed not to create titans, but to create cogs. It was designed to produce efficient, obedient employees who would faithfully serve the industrial machine. It taught you the lie of arithmetic. It taught you the lie of hustle. It taught you to trade your time for money, which is the definition of a trap. It taught you to seek security over opportunity. It trained you to be realistic, which, as we have established, is the anesthetic for an unlived life. It did not teach you about your subconscious mind. It did not teach you about applied faith. It did not teach you about personal magnetism. It taught you to memorize the maps of old worlds, not how to imagine new ones. And the third author of your sentence is your environment, your cautious friends, your mastermind of mediocrity, the people who, when you share a great dream, say, "Be careful, that sounds risky. Are you sure you know what you're doing?" Most people who try that fail. They are not your enemies. They are the guardians of your old prison. They are the echoes of your own fear. They, too, are running the same program. And when they see you attempting to escape, it is a terrifying threat to their own identity. So they must pull you back. They must reinforce the realism of the prison. And so, here you stand, a powerful, divine, creative being, running a program written by broke parents, insecure teachers, and a society that glorifies struggle. You have been conditioned to fear wealth. You have been trained to associate it with guilt, or greed, or corruption. And now we see the great energetic contradiction. With your conscious mind, you say, "I want to be rich." But with your subconscious program, you are screaming, "Wealth is dangerous. Wealth is bad. Wealth will make me a terrible person. Wealth will make me lose the love of my family." This is the civil war I spoke of. This is the house divided against itself. And when you hold this contradiction, no matter how small, no matter how deeply buried, you are repelling the very thing you say you want. You are driving with one foot on the accelerator of desire, and your other foot slammed down on the brake of your identity. And all you produce is smoke, noise, and frustration. You burn out. You go nowhere. This is the energetic root of your sabotage. Money has no loyalty. Let us be clear on this. Money is not moral. It is not immoral. It is amoral. It is an effect. It is a form of energy, like electricity. Electricity does not care if it is used to light a hospital or to power an electric chair. It does not judge the user. It simply flows, obediently, to the path of least resistance, to the path that is aligned with it. Money is the same. It does not care if you are a good person or a bad person. It does not care about your PhD or your lack of one. It flows, by an impersonal law, to the man who is most energetically open and aligned with it. It flows to the man who has no contradiction. It flows to the man who believes he is worthy of it. It flows to the man who feels safe with it. It flows to the man who expects it, and it flees. It runs, as if from a fire, from the man whose magnetism is filled with contradiction. If your magnetism is filled with guilt, money will run from you. If your magnetism is filled with shame, money will run from you. If your magnetism broadcasts desperation, money will run from you. If your magnetism whispers, "I am not worthy," money will hear, and it will obey your command. It will flow right past you, into the hands of a man who may be less intelligent, less good, less hard-working, but who has one thing you do not. He has no energetic contradiction. He simply believes he is worthy of it. And so, he is. So, how do we erase this sentence? How do we rewrite this fatal subconscious code? You cannot fight it. What you resist persists. If you fight your belief of lack, you are only focusing on lack, and you are strengthening it. You do not fight the darkness in a room. You do not shovel it out the window. It is an impossible task. You simply turn on the light, and the darkness, which was never a thing at all, but merely the absence of a thing, disappears instantly. The old program of poverty is darkness. Your new decision, your new identity, is the light. You must, by a deliberate act of will, reclaim authorship. You must become the gardener. You must stop, right now, watering the weeds of your old programming. You cannot afford to walk through this world unconsciously, not for one more minute. Every sigh of frustration, every complaint about the bills, every moment of self-pity, every flash of envy at another's success. These are not harmless vents. They are acts of creation. They are affirmations. They are you, the master gardener, pouring fertilizer on the weeds of lack. You must stop it. You must become a vigilant guardian at the gate of your mind, and you must replace this consciously with the new program. Every act of gratitude, even for the smallest thing, that is planting a seed of abundance. Every minute spent in quiet visualization of your financial destiny, feeling it as if it is already real, that is the light. Every ounce of courage to say, I am worthy of more. I am aligned with success. My identity is wealth. That is you, rewiring the frequency. This is not a one-time event. This is a discipline. You spent decades training your subconscious for lack. You cannot reverse it with one afternoon of positive thinking. You must be relentless. You must be a zealot. You must be more persistent in your new belief than you were in your old one. You must impress your subconscious over and over with this new, powerful truth, that the old story was a lie, that it was written by other people, that your true identity is one of power, abundance, and freedom. This is the great work. It is the sacred work. It is the work of remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. You were born a king, and it is time to erase the false identity of the beggar and to reclaim your throne. We are now at the halfway point of this great discourse. You have done the work of clearing the weeds. You have faced the false poverty sentence that was written for you, and you have made the decision to erase it. This decision is the most important one of your life, and it is a decision that must be reinforced. The work we do here, on this channel, is the daily, relentless work of reprogramming. We are a gathering place for those who have decided to reclaim their authorship. We are a mastermind for those who are building their new identity. If you have made this decision today, if you are, at this moment, deciding that you will no longer be a prisoner of your old program, then make your first act of congruence. Subscribe to this channel now. It is not merely clicking a button. It is a declaration. It is your commitment to your new self. It is your signal to the universe that you are ready to join the assembly of masters. Make that commitment. And let us now continue the great work of building the palace in which your new identity will live. We stand now at the heart of the great mystery. We have done the work that most men are too afraid to do. We have turned our gaze inward. We have faced the lies that built our prison. We have seen that arithmetic, hustle, and circumstance are not our masters, but our servants. We have uncovered that great, sleeping giant, the subconscious mind, the faithful builder who has been constructing our reality based on a faulty blueprint. And in our last discourse, we took the most courageous step of all. We found the courage to face the authors of that false blueprint. We have seen that our poverty sentence was a program, a piece of code, installed in us by well-meaning parents, a cautious society, and an environment that feared success. We have made the decision to reclaim authorship. We have decided to erase this false code. The garden is now weeded. The darkness of the old program has been exposed. And so, we must ask the most important question of all. What do we plant in its place? It is here that millions of aspirants, having done the hard work of clearing the soil, fail. They fail because they try to plant dead seeds. Here is a secret that most people will miss entirely, a truth that separates the dreamer from the creator. You must not just think rich, you must feel rich. Let me repeat that. The thought of wealth has no power. It is a sketch on a piece of paper. It is a word whispered in the wind. It is a dead seed, the feeling of wealth, that is the living, germinating, creative force. Feeling is the language of the subconscious mind. You have been speaking to the giant in a language he does not understand. Your conscious mind speaks in thoughts and words. Your subconscious mind speaks in feelings and emotions. A thought that is not emotionalized, a thought that is not felt, is an ignored command. You can stand in front of your mirror for 1,000 years, repeating the words, "I am wealthy." But if you do not feel it, if your nervous system does not resonate with it, if your heart is pounding with the feeling of lack, you are not sending a command for wealth. You are sending a powerful, emotionalized command for more lack. The subconscious mind hears the feeling, not the word. It hears your dominant vibration. And here is the secret. Wealth is not a number in a bank account. That is the result. That is the shadow. Wealth. True. Magnetic, lasting wealth is an emotional signature. It is a feeling. What does it feel like? We must define it so we can practice it. It feels like security. Not the security of a high wall, but the deep internal calm of knowing that you are the source, the knowing that there is always more than enough, the release of all panic, all anxiety, all what if. It is the feeling of ease. It feels like freedom, the freedom to choose, the freedom to say yes from a place of desire, not no from a place of fear, the freedom to be your authentic self without apology, the freedom from the quiet desperation of the monthly bills. It feels like expansion. It is the opposite of the feeling of constriction and lack. It is the joy of growing, of becoming more, of giving more, of creating more. It is the feeling of your own power uninhibed, unless your body, unless your nervous system learns to feel these emotions now, unless you can make security, freedom, and expansion your new home, your new default. You will unconsciously sabotage your wealth when it finally arrives. And now, let us speak of the great tragedy. Let us speak of the man who receives the result before he has cultivated the identity. Let us speak of the lottery winner. Here is a man. He has been broadcasting the signal of lack for 50 years. His dominant feelings are fear, envy, and it's not fair. His nervous system is perfectly trained, perfectly aligned with the vibration of poverty. It is his home. It is where he feels safe. Then, by a stroke of statistical anomaly, his circumstance changes. He is handed millions. He is, by the world's definition, rich. He is the beggar who has been dragged into the palace. And what happens? His conscious mind celebrates. But his subconscious mind, his nervous system, his personal magnetism, goes into a state of violent panic. He has the money, but he does not have the emotional signature of wealth. He does not feel security. He feels terror, terror of losing it, terror of the new friends and relatives crawling from the woodwork. He feels hunted. He does not feel freedom. He feels paralyzed. He does not know who to trust. He is more trapped by his new riches than he ever was by his poverty. He does not feel expansion. He feels constriction. He feels the immense, crushing guilt of, I do not deserve this. He feels like an imposter. His dominant, habitual feeling, his vibration, is still one of fear, confusion, and limitation. And so, we have an energetic war. We have the high vibration of the money, which is energy, abundance, security, and the low vibration of the man, who is fear, lack, and unworthiness. This is a state of profound energetic contradiction. It is like trying to force the two positive poles of a magnet together. It is unnatural. It is unstable. The universe abhors a contradiction. The law must resolve this. Energy must seek alignment. So, what will win? The new circumstance of money, or the 50-year-old, deeply entrenched habitual identity of lack? The identity always wins. The master program always wins. And so, the man's faithful servant, his subconscious mind, receives the dominant, emotionalized command: I am terrified. I am unworthy. I am in danger. Get me out of here. Take me back home to the familiar feeling of being broke. And the subconscious mind obediently goes to work. It engineers the sabotage. It whispers to him to make the foolish investment. It attracts the con artist who mirrors his own internal chaos. It compels him to spend and spend and spend in a frantic, desperate attempt to feel something. But all he feels is his own panic. And in 18 months or 3 years, the money is gone, and his friends and family shake their heads and say, "What a tragedy. What bad luck." It was not a tragedy. It was not luck. It was physics. It was the law of resonance in perfect, flawless operation. The money had to leave because the man's vibration, his personal magnetism, did not match the money. His inner world did not match his outer world, and the outer world must conform to the inner. He is the beggar, running from the palace, back to the safety of his cold, familiar street corner. If you only remember one thing from our time together, let it be this: you cannot keep what you are not an energetic match for. The universe will always strip from you the success you have not become. This is why we do this work. This is why we do not chase money. Chasing it is useless. If you catch it before you are ready for it, it will vanish from your hands. We do not chase. We become. We attract. We do the real work. We train our magnetism. We build the identity of wealth first. We become the person whose nervous system is calm in the face of abundance. We become the person who feels worthy of success. We become the person who feels safe in their own power. And when we become that person, the wealth, the opportunities, the resources, they must come. And when they come, they must stay. Because they have, at last, found a home. They have found alignment. So, this is the great task. We must practice the feeling of wealth before the evidence of wealth has arrived. This is the ultimate test of applied faith. This is the true work of creation. How do we do this? When the bank account says zero, when the bills are piling up, how can one feel rich? This is where you reclaim your authorship. You must decide. You must stop being a thermometer, merely reacting to the temperature of your circumstances. You must become a thermostat. You must set the temperature of your own mind. You must generate the feeling by a deliberate act of will. Ask yourself this question every single hour of every day: how can I practice the feeling of wealth right now? Let me give you the practical application. When a bill arrives in the mail, the old program, the beggar program, reacts with a jolt of panic, a feeling of constriction. Oh no, more lack. You have just practiced and strengthened the vibration of poverty. The new program, the master program, requires a pause. You stop, you breathe, and you consciously choose a new response. You look at the bill and you practice the feeling of gratitude. I am so grateful that this company trusted me for 30 days. I am so grateful that I have the means to pay this. Even if the money is not yet in the bank, you practice the feeling of it is already handled. There is always more than enough. You feel the ease of writing the check. You feel the security of knowing that your supply is infinite. This is not a lie. This is a command. This is you retraining your nervous system. This is you impressing the subconscious with a new, higher vibration. How else can you practice? You can practice by acting as the person of wealth. Even if your account says zero, can you walk with your head held high? The beggar slouches. He looks at the ground. He makes himself small. The king walks with dignity. His posture broadcasts his worth before he speaks a word. That is wealth training. Can you speak your truth boldly? Can you stop apologizing for your price? Can you stop adding, if that's okay, to the end of your requests? The beggar begs. The master states, when you speak with calm, unapologetic certainty, that is aura training. Can you give? This is perhaps the most powerful practice of all. The feeling of lack says, I must hoard, I must protect, I cannot give because I do not have enough. The feeling of wealth, the feeling of expansion says, I have so much, I am a channel for abundance, I can give. Give $1 to a homeless man, give a generous tip, give a compliment, give your full, undivided attention to another human being, give gratitude. When you give without any need for return, you are screaming at the universe, I am overflow, I am abundance. And the universe, the great mirror, must reflect that reality back to you. This is the sacred work. It is the daily, hourly, moment-by-moment discipline of choosing your emotional state. It is not easy. It is work. It is the hardest work you will ever do. It is far harder than hustle, but it is the only work that matters. You are not faking it. You are feeling it. You are not pretending. You are programming. You are not lying to yourself. You are commanding your new truth. You are, with every conscious, chosen feeling, becoming the person who is ready to receive. You are becoming the palace that the king's fortune can, at last, come home to. We have done the sacred work. We have journeyed past the chatter of the conscious mind and stood in the silent, powerful workshop of the subconscious. We have learned that this giant servant speaks only one language, the language of feeling. We have understood that we must practice the feeling of wealth before the evidence arrives. We must learn to feel security, freedom, and expansion, even when our circumstances show us only lack. This is the art of applied faith. This is the discipline of the Creator. But now we must face the great, practical obstacle. You ask me, how? How can I practice the feeling of wealth when my entire world is screaming poverty? How can I practice the feeling of security when my boss belittles me, my spouse doubts me, and the bills are piling on my desk? How can I practice the feeling of expansion when my physical reality is a prison of constriction? This is the test. And this is where the true work of mastery begins. Let us go deeper, for you must now apply the immutable law of environment. You must understand this. Your personal magnetism, that invisible field you are broadcasting, is not created in a vacuum. It is, like your physical body, constantly breathing. It breathes in the atmosphere of its surroundings. If you are in a room filled with poison gas, it does not matter how healthy your lungs are. You cannot breathe in that gas and hope to remain healthy. You will be poisoned. Your mental and emotional environment is that gas. It is either a clean, pure, oxygen-rich air of faith, possibility, and abundance, or it is a toxic, poisonous fog of doubt, complaint, and fear. You cannot train a magnetic field of abundance while dining with complainers. Let me repeat that. You cannot do it. It is an energetic impossibility. Why? Because complaint is the prayer of poverty. It is the affirmation of lack. It is the active practice of the very feeling of failure. When you sit at a table with men who speak of how bad things are, how the world is unfair, how their boss is a tyrant, how the economy is collapsing, you are not merely listening. You are participating in a ritual. You are, by your very presence, consenting to that vibration. You are breathing in the poison gas. You may sit there, silently thinking your positive thoughts. You may fake it, as we discussed, but their broadcast, their feeling, their magnetism is infectious. You are a tuning fork, striving to vibrate at the frequency of wealth, but you are surrounding yourself with other, larger tuning forks that are vibrating violently at the frequency of lack. And by the law of resonance, their vibration will pull you off your key. It will dampen your signal. It will infect your magnetism. You cannot build indomitable confidence while listening to gossip. Gossip is the lowest form of energetic communication. It is the attempt to build oneself up by tearing another down. It is rooted in a deep, agonizing feeling of insecurity. When you listen to it, you are aligning your magnetism with insecurity. You cannot think like a millionaire while scrolling through poverty mindset content. You cannot feed your mind a steady diet of fear, chaos, and realistic limitation from the daily news, and then wonder why your subconscious mind, your faithful servant, is commanded to produce more fear, chaos, and limitation. What you consume becomes what you emit. Your environment is your true mental diet, and your personal magnetism is the result of that diet. Let me tell you a parable. There were two merchants in an ancient city, both of equal talent, both with the same small amount of seed money. The first merchant, a man named Thomas, was cautious. He sought the realistic advice of other small merchants in the marketplace. Every evening, he would sit with them at the tavern. They would drink, and they would complain. They complained about the king's taxes. They complained about the weather. They complained about the high price of goods. They complained that true success was reserved for the nobles. Thomas would listen, and he would nod. He breathed in their poison. He absorbed their realism. And when he went to make his business decisions, his mind was polluted with their fear. His magnetism, once bright, now broadcast caution, doubt, and limitation. He made small, safe bets. He undercharged for his goods. He haggled from a place of fear. And after 20 years, he was still a small merchant sitting in the same tavern, complaining about the same taxes. He had become his environment. The second merchant, a man named Arthur, was different. From the first day, he refused to go to the tavern of complainers. He was called arrogant. He was called a fool. Instead, he used his small funds to seek an audience, even for just 5 minutes, with the most successful traders in the city. He did not ask them for money. He asked them for their thoughts. He sat, not with complainers, but with creators. These men did not speak of limitation. They spoke of expansion. They did not speak of taxes. They spoke of opportunity. They did not gossip about others. They planned new ventures. They did not speak of what if it fails. They spoke of when it succeeds. Arthur sat in this new environment, and he breathed. He breathed in the pure oxygen of faith, certainty, and boldness. His own magnetism, his signal, began to resonate with theirs. It amplified. When he went to make his business decisions, his mind was not polluted. It was ignited. He saw opportunities the complainers could not see. He took bold, calculated risks. He spoke with a quiet certainty that attracted investors. And after 20 years, he was no longer a merchant. He was a prince of commerce, the master of a fleet. He owned the tavern the other men were still complaining in. Both men started the same. Their environment determined their destiny. This brings us to one of the most foundational and most misunderstood principles of all achievement. The principle of the mastermind. Your current environment, the collection of people and influences around you, is a mastermind. It is either a mastermind of mediocrity, a mastermind of complaint, a mastermind of fear, or it is a mastermind of power. You must, by a deliberate, conscious choice, curate your surroundings. You must become the guardian of your own field. You must change your company. You must change your input. This is not a polite suggestion. This is a command. If you are serious about this work, you must first perform the great purge. You must eliminate the sources of poison. This is the part that will test you. This is the part that will feel uncomfortable. You must stop dining with complainers. This may mean walking away from friends you have had for decades. This may mean distancing yourself from family members who are addicted to their own poverty sentence. This is not an act of cruelty. This is an act of survival. It is an act of loyalty, not to your past, but to your future. You cannot save a drowning man if you let him pull you under. You must first get to shore. You must first become strong. From a place of power, you can throw them a rope, but from a place of shared misery, you all drown. You must eliminate the negative inputs. You must stop listening to the gossip. You must turn off the poverty mindset content, the news that is designed to broadcast fear, the social media that is designed to make you envy others. This is an act of will, and when you have cleared the space, when you have subtracted the negative, you must then add the positive. You must, deliberately, build your own mastermind of power. What is a mastermind? It is not just a study group. It is not a networking club. It is an energetic alliance. It is the conscious and deliberate association with one or more persons who are in perfect harmony with your definite major purpose. When you align yourself with those who speak life, who move with boldness, who operate in conviction, your signal does not just add to theirs, it multiplies. When your faith wavers, and it will, you can borrow the faith of your mastermind. Their certainty becomes your shield. When their courage falters, your certainty becomes their shield. It is a collective battery. It is a psychic fortress. When two or more minds unite in a spirit of perfect harmony for a definite purpose, a third mind is created. An invisible, intangible third mind. This third mind is the true mastermind, and it is this mind that has a direct line of communication with infinite intelligence. It is this mind that becomes the magnet for lucky breaks, for brilliant ideas, for opportunities that a single mind, polluted by a negative environment, could never see. Your first and most important act of business is to build this alliance. But your environment is not just people. You must curate your physical space. Look at your desk. Look at your home. Is it a sanctuary of excellence? Or is it a monument to chaos? A cluttered, disorganized, messy desk is the physical manifestation of a cluttered, disorganized, messy mind. It broadcasts confusion. It trains your subconscious for chaos. You do not need to be rich to have order. You do not need wealth to have cleanliness. Turn your home, your room, your small desk, turn it into a temple dedicated to your future self. Fill it with the tools of your new identity. Fill it with the books written by masters. Place symbols or visuals of your definite major purpose where you can see them every day. Why? Because your subconscious mind thinks in symbols. You are feeding it the pictures of your future. You are impressing upon it visually the blueprint of the palace so it will stop building the hovel of your past. And finally, you must curate your time. You must guard the gates of your day. You must protect your mornings. The first hour of your day sets the keynote for your personal magnetism. When you wake, your subconscious mind is open, receptive, like freshly tilled soil. If the first thing you do is grab your phone, check the news, read the fearful emails, and scroll through the envy machine of social media, you have, in the first 10 minutes of your day, planted your entire garden with weeds. You have polluted your magnetism. You have commanded your subconscious to create a day of fear and distraction. Your morning must be sacred. It must be yours. It must be filled with your commands, with silence, with gratitude, with the feeling of your wish fulfilled, with the review of your definite major purpose. You must set your own signal before the world tries to set it for you, and you must reclaim your nights. The last impression you give your subconscious mind before you sleep is the command it will work on for the next 8 hours. If you fall asleep in a state of emotional drama, if you fall asleep arguing, if you fall asleep worrying about the bills, if you fall asleep watching violence or chaos on a screen, You are commanding your giant servant to build more of that all night long. You are marinating your soul in failure. Your last 5 minutes, before sleep, must be a deliberate act of impressing your subconscious. You must, in that drowsy, receptive state, feel the gratitude for the day. You must feel the certainty of your success. You must hold the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. You must give your servant the correct blueprint to build from while you rest. This, my friends, is the law of environment. Your field, your personal magnetism, is always being trained. It is always absorbing its surroundings. The question is not if it is being trained. The question is, who is doing the training? Is it the complainers? Is it the news? Is it the chaos of your past? Or is it you? You are always transmitting. The question is, are you transmitting on purpose? Guard your field, curate your master mind, build your sanctuary, and you will not just practice the feeling of wealth, you will live in it. And the world must conform to your new home. We have come far. We have journeyed inward, past the gates of illusion. We have unmasked the great lies of arithmetic, hustle, and circumstance. We have faced the failure of the performance, the futility of faking it. We have stood in the silent, powerful workshop of the subconscious mind, and we have learned its native tongue, the language of feeling. We have learned to practice the feeling of wealth, security, and expansion, even before the evidence has arrived. We have faced the poison of our old environment, and we have made the decision to build a new one, a mastermind of power, a sanctuary for our future self. You have cleared the garden of its weeds. You have planted the new, divine seed of your definite purpose, steeped in the feeling of its own reality. You have built a fence around this garden to protect it from the poison gas of the outside world. And now, you must build the house. You must construct the permanent, physical, visible structure that is this new identity. A belief that is merely felt is a blueprint. A belief that is lived, that is an empire. As I have observed, the most powerful men and women on this earth, those who do not just get wealth, but keep it, those who move through the world with an undeniable presence, I have found that their personal magnetism is not a vague fog, it is a structure. It is an energetic skeleton. It is built upon 4 great, immovable pillars. These are the 4 pillars of a wealthy aura, the building blocks of a magnetic life. They are certainty, calm, congruence, and contribution. These are not techniques. These are states of being. These are the proof that your internal work is complete. Let us examine them one by one, for in them lies the entire art of living. The first pillar is certainty, indomitable certainty. What is this? It is not arrogance. Arrogance is loud. Arrogance is faking it. Arrogance is the desperate performance of a man who is terrified you will see his weakness. It is the beggar in the palace, shouting to prove he belongs there. Certainty is quiet. Certainty is still. It is known. Certainty is the natural, effortless broadcast of a man who has done the internal work. It is the result of having impressed your subconscious mind so completely, so relentlessly, with your new identity that there is no argument left. The civil war is over. The house is no longer divided. The king is on the throne. When you have achieved this state, you no longer hope your purpose will manifest. You know it will. You no longer wish for success. You expect it. You speak and you move with intention. The man of doubt. His energy is scattered. He asks permission. His voice goes up at the end of a sentence. He begs with his posture. He walks into a room and his magnetism whispers, "Please, validate me. Please, tell me I am okay." The man of certainty. His energy is focused. He is a laser. He walks into a room and his silent magnetism commands, "Here is the answer you have been waiting for." He does not need your validation. He is self-validated. He has already won the victory in the theater of his own mind. He is merely walking through the physical motions of collecting the trophy. This is the energy that the world is starving for. In a world of confusion, of chaos, of doubt. The man or woman who radiates pure, calm, certainty becomes a magnet for all who are lost. People want to follow certainty. They want to give their money to certainty. They want to invest their time and energy into the person who knows. This is what the original transcript meant when it said, "People don't invest in plans, they invest in confidence." Confidence is the outer expression of inner certainty. How do you build this? You build it, first, through the work we have already discussed, the relentless programming of the subconscious mind. You feel the wish fulfilled over and over until it is more real to you than the shadows of the real world. Second, you build it through preparation. The bridge builder is certain the bridge will hold, not because he is an optimist, but because he has done the math. He has checked every calculation. His certainty is earned. Do your homework. Know your industry. Master your craft. Prepare yourself so completely that no one can ask you a question you have not already asked yourself. When your spiritual faith and your physical preparation meet, they ignite. And the fire they produce is called certainty. It is the spine of your new identity. But a spine alone is useless. It cannot stand. It must be supported by the second pillar. The second pillar is calm, emotional poise. A man may have certainty, but if he is chaotic, he is a runaway train. He is dangerous. You cannot radiate abundance if your energy is chaotic. You cannot project security if your nervous system is panicked. Calm, emotional poise is the living, breathing proof that you trust the law. The man of lack, the beggar. He is frantic. He is hurried. He is desperate. He is always hustling, as we discussed, digging with his teaspoon, frantic that he will not get enough. His energy is a jagged, anxious vibration, and this vibration, as the transcript warned, poisons the frequency. It screams, "I am not enough. I don't have enough." And the universe agrees with him. The master, the king, the man of wealth. He is never in a hurry. Why? Because he knows his success is inevitable. He is certain. And because he is certain, he can be calm. He knows that what is his cannot miss him. He operates from a place of poise. This is the true mastery of the feeling we spoke of. This is the thermostat, not the thermometer. Let me give you a parable. A great ship is caught in a terrifying storm. The winds howl. The waves crash. The ship is thrown from side to side. The passengers, they are frantic. They are screaming. They are running. They are reacting to the circumstance. They are thermometers, reflecting the chaos of the storm. Now, imagine the captain. He walks onto the deck. He feels the wind. He sees the waves. But he is not the storm. He is the captain. If he runs onto the deck, screaming in panic, the ship is lost. His panic will infect the crew, and all discipline will collapse. But the true captain, he walks out, and he is the calmest man on the ship. His heart may be pounding, but his broadcast is one of poise. He does not react to the wave. He responds to it. He gives calm, clear commands. Secure that line. Turn the rudder. Hold fast. His calm, his poise, is not a denial of the storm. It is a declaration of his mastery over it. His calm is a force. It is a signal that infects the crew. They see his poise, and their own panic subsides. They trust him, and because they trust him, they execute his commands, and the ship survives. You are the captain. Your life is the ship. Your emotions and circumstances are the storm. Your clients, your investors, your family, your mastermind, they are your crew. If you broadcast panic, you will lose the ship. If you are frantic, you will lose the ship. If you react to every wave, you will lose the ship. You must cultivate the pillar of calm. You must be the eye of the storm. You must learn to pause, to breathe, and to respond from your place of certainty, not react from your place of fear. This poise, this emotional stillness, is what money listens for. Money is energy. It hates chaos. It loves order. It loves calm. It flows to the captain who can be trusted to steer the ship. When you are desperate, you repel wealth. When you are calm, you magnetize it. But this leads to a danger. A man can be certain, he can be calm, but he can be a fraud. He can be a man who says all the right things, but does another. This brings us to the third pillar, the one that binds the others. The third pillar is congruence, absolute alignment. This is the keystone. This is where your new identity becomes unbreakable. Congruence is when your inner world and your outer world are one. It is when your thoughts, your feelings, your words, and your actions are all singing the same song. This is the opposite of the Civil War. This is the opposite of faking it. The man of incongruence. He thinks about success. He feels fear. He speaks words of affirmation. And his actions are ones of hesitation, procrastination, and sabotage. His broadcast is chaos. It is static. The universe cannot understand his command. He is a house divided, and he will fall. The man of congruence. His thoughts are fixed on his definite purpose. His feelings are trained to match that purpose. His words are declarations of that feeling. And his actions are the natural, effortless, disciplined motions of a man living that truth. His signal is not static. It is a laser. It is pure. This is what the original transcript meant. They speak what they believe. They act how they feel. They move as if it's already real. That level of congruence creates power. It is power. It is all power. A man who is congruent has no friction. He has no resistance. He has aligned his conscious and subconscious minds. He is no longer fighting himself. He is a magnifying glass, focusing the entire diffuse power of the sun into a single point, and he will start a fire. The world feels this. People cannot explain it, but they know it. This is the man who speaks and people listen. This is the man who asks and people give. This is the man who, as the transcript said, something about you has changed. I can't explain it, but I trust you. They trust you because you are whole. You are not a lie. You are not a performance. You are congruent. You cannot affirm wealth and then live in the actions of scarcity. You cannot visualize success and then act in a way that avoids discipline. You cannot talk about your mastermind and then go dine with complainers. Your actions must be the final, visible proof of your new identity. When your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions are one, your personal magnetism becomes undeniable. It is no longer a signal. It is a physical law. And this leads us to the fourth and final pillar, the one that activates the other three. The fourth pillar is contribution, the spirit of service. A man can be certain, he can be calm, he can be congruent, but if he does this all for himself, he is a black hole. He is a taker. His energy is one of hoarding. And hoarding is just the wealthy word for lack. It is the secret vibration of, I must get mine because I'm afraid there's not enough. He has built a beautiful house, but he has locked the doors. He has stopped the flow. If you truly want to be wealthy, you must first be valuable. If you want to receive, you must first give. This is not a moral judgment. This is physics. The feeling of wealth, as we practiced, is expansion. It is overflow. What is the action of overflow? It is giving. When you contribute, when you serve, when you give of your value, your time, your wisdom, without keeping score, you are sending the loudest possible signal to your subconscious mind. I am so abundant. I am so wealthy. I am so full that I can give this away. and I know there is infinitely more from where it came. This act of contribution shatters the last remnant of your poverty sentence. It is the final definitive proof that you are no longer the beggar. You are the king. The beggar hoards. The king gives. Riches, when they are true and lasting, are never the goal. They are the consequence. They are the effect. They are the reward for value rendered. Stop chasing money. Start giving value. Stop asking for the sale. Start solving problems. Stop hoarding your ideas. Start serving the world with them. The farmer does not hoard his best seed. He does not keep it in a locked box, admiring it. That is the vibration of lack. He gives his best seed to the earth. He contributes it. He serves the law of the harvest. And he does so with absolute faith, absolute certainty, absolute calm, and in perfect congruence, knowing that the earth, the law, must and will return it to him 100-fold. Give your seed. Solve the problems that matter. Show up to serve, not just to succeed. And the law of the harvest, which we call wealth, must obey you. These, then, are the 4 pillars: certainty, the spine; your applied faith; calm, the muscle; your emotional mastery; congruence, the nervous system; your total alignment; contribution, the heart; your proof of abundance. They are not separate. They are one. They form the energetic skeleton of every powerful, wealthy, and magnetic person you have ever admired. They are not lucky. They are aligned. And you can be too. This is not a gift you are given. It is a house you must build. This is the true work, the great work, to build this structure within you so solidly, so perfectly, that the universe has no choice but to build a palace around you to match it. We have done the great work. We have journeyed together into the very heart of power. We have torn down the false prison of lies, the lies of arithmetic, of hustle, and of circumstance. We have stood in the silent, awesome workshop of the subconscious mind, and we have learned its secret language, the language of feeling. We have learned to practice the feeling of wealth, security, and expansion before the evidence has arrived. We have learned to curate our environment, to build a mastermind of power and a sanctuary for our future self. And in our last discourse, we built the very house of our new identity. We have raised the 4 mighty pillars that form the energetic skeleton of a magnetic life. The pillar of indomitable certainty, the pillar of unshakable calm, the pillar of absolute congruence, and the great activating pillar of contribution. The blueprint is complete. The structure is built. The house in the invisible, energetic realm is finished. And it is here, at this very moment of triumph, that you will face the greatest test of your entire life. It is at this moment, when the work is done, that the true work begins. Now, mark my words, because this is the secret that separates the masters from the permanent students. This is the truth that separates the titans from the dreamers. Your personal magnetism, your aura, your magnetic power. It does not grow when everything is easy. It is not built in the meditation. The meditation is only the blueprint. It is not forged in the affirmation. The affirmation is only the hammer. It is forged. It is tempered. It is made real in the furnace of adversity. You see, you have built a new house. You have declared a new identity. You have raised your 4 pillars, and now the universe must test your construction. The universe, that great impersonal mirror, must find out if you have built a stage prop or a fortress. It must find out if you are faking it, as we discussed in our 3rd lesson, or if you have truly become it. This is the great test, and it will come in 3 forms. First, you will be tested by delay. This is the test of your pillar of certainty. You have done the work. You have felt the wish fulfilled. You have programmed your subconscious. You have acted as the person of wealth. You have aligned your being, and nothing happens. The bank account still says zero. The phone does not ring. The lucky break does not arrive. The world in the visible continues to reflect the past. This is the moment of maximum danger. This is the valley of the shadow. This is the moment when the old program, the poverty sentence we work to erase, comes roaring back to life. It is the whisper that says, "See, it didn't work. You're a fool. You're just a dreamer. Who are you kidding? You are still the beggar. Look at the facts. Look at the reality of the bills. This is the test. Will you believe the shadow of the past, or will you believe the substance of your new identity? Will you be a thermometer, reacting to the fact of the bank account, or will you be a thermostat, holding the feeling of your new truth in spite of the facts? The man who fails this test, his new house built of paper dissolves. He says, "I tried it, but it didn't work," and he returns to the safety of his prison. The master, the woman of true magnetism, smiles at this test. She knows that the seed, once planted, must grow. She does not dig it up every 5 minutes to see if it is working. She knows that the command, once impressed upon the subconscious, must manifest. Her certainty is not dependent on the evidence. Her certainty is the evidence. She holds the line. She holds the feeling. She persists. She knows that the delay is not a denial. It is a test. It is the final fiery tempering of her new pillar of certainty. Second, you will be tested by your environment. This is the test of your pillar of congruence and your master mind. As the user's original transcript so wisely warned, when you begin to vibrate at a higher level, the lower frequencies in your life will rebel. You have decided to leave the tavern of the complainers. You have decided to stop participating in the ritual of lack. You have changed, and the complainers, your old environment, will not applaud you. They will rebel. This is the moment when your well-meaning family will say, "You've changed. You're acting strange. You're not fun anymore. You're arrogant." This is when your old friends, the guardians of your old prison, will gossip. They will misunderstand you. They will mock your new ambition. They will attack your new pillars. Why? Because your new light, your new congruence, your new certainty is a terrifying mirror to their own incongruence. Your escape from the prison proves that the doors were never locked, and that is a truth their own poverty sentence cannot handle. They must pull you back down to prove to themselves that escape is impossible. They will say, "Who do you think you are?" This is the test. Will you, as the transcript said, dim your light to match a room you've outgrown? Will you want to be liked more than you want to be free? The man who fails this test, his pillar of congruence shatters. He betrays his new identity to regain the comfort of his old prison. He abandons his palace to be liked by his fellow prisoners. The master, he blesses them, and he walks on. He does not argue. He does not defend. He does not explain. His results will be his only explanation. He understands the wisdom from the transcript. You are not here to be agreeable. You are here to be aligned. He lets them gossip. He lets them misunderstand. He lets them think he has changed. He smiles because he knows they are right. He has changed. He has outgrown the old shell. He is no longer a prisoner. He is a king, and his loyalty is no longer to the gossip of the prison yard, but to the laws of his new kingdom. And this brings us to the third, the final, and the most intimate test of all. You will be tested by the old self. This is the test of all four of your pillars. This is the final boss. You will face delays. You will face the rebellion of others. But the true, final battle is the one within. It is the civil war between the person you are becoming and the person you have been. Let us, for a moment, honor this old self, This is not an enemy to be killed. This is the identity, the program that helped you survive until today. It was the beggar identity that knew how to stay small, how to stay safe, how to not be seen, how to not get into trouble. It was a protection mechanism. And now, you, the master, are standing up. You are building pillars of certainty and calm and congruence. You are becoming visible. You are preparing to receive and to contribute. Part 8. And this is terrifying to the old self. This is a death sentence to its entire job. And so, it will fight you. It will make its last desperate stand. This is the old version of you, as the transcript so perfectly stated, that refuses to let go. What is this version? It is the version that plays small. It is the version that doubts. It is the version that wants to be liked more than it wants to be free. This version has a weak signal. It repels opportunity because it cannot handle responsibility. This old self is the beggar who is terrified of the palace. He is terrified of the responsibility that comes with being king. And so, at the moment of your greatest breakthrough, just when the victory is in sight, this old self will scream. It will create the sabotage. It will manufacture the doubt. It will project the fear. It will beg you to return to the safety of the familiar misery. This is the test. You must shed this version. Not someday, not when it is convenient, not after you get the money. You will never get the money until this is done. You must shed it now. This is a death, and it must be a death. As the transcript said, every seed must break to grow. Every identity must crack before it expands. The seed hull. The old self believes it is protecting the seed, but in reality, its protection is the very prison that is preventing the oak tree from being born. The hull must be destroyed. The old identity must crack. You must let your old self die. And this is where your true power is forged. It is forged in these very moments of testing. It is when you pass these tests that your magnetism cements. It is when you feel the trembling of the old self, but you act with certainty anyway. It is when you feel the panic of the storm, but you choose to be the calm anyway. It is when the world begs you to be small, but you remain congruent with your new identity anyway. It is when you feel the emptiest, and you choose to contribute, to give anyway. When you give, even when you feel empty. When you lead, even while you are learning. When you persist, even when you feel forgotten. That is the moment you pass the test. That is the moment the universe stops testing you and starts promoting you. That is the moment the invisible world stops resisting you and starts rearranging mountains in your name. This is the true meaning of faith is stronger than fear. This is the proof of your new power. So do not fear the test. Welcome it. It is not punishment. It is your graduation. Do not you dare quit 5 minutes before the miracle. Do not you dare dim your light to match the prison you have already left. You were not born to fit in. You were born to stand in the fire of your own power. The moment you stop apologizing for your power, the moment you stop minimizing your potential, the moment you, by a final and irrevocable decision, stop entertaining lack, gossip, or the emotional chaos of the old self. That is the moment your personal magnetism becomes undeniable. That is the moment you walk into a room and people feel it. That is the moment you speak and people listen. That is the moment you ask and doors open. Not because you are lucky, not because you are faking it, but because you have been weighed, you have been measured, you have been tested by the furnace, and you have been found real. And so, we have come to the end of our journey and to the true beginning of yours. You have learned, in our time together, the great truths that separate the masters from the masses. You have learned that wealth does not begin with arithmetic, for the accountants who manage fortunes rarely build them. It begins with imagination. You have learned that wealth is not the result of hustle, for the world is filled with hard-working men who die penniless. It is the result of intelligent direction and applied faith. You have learned that wealth is not a matter of luck or circumstance, for the titans of history were not recipients of circumstance. They were creators of it. You have learned that you are, at this very moment, a broadcasting station, that your personal magnetism, your aura, is the invisible ambassador that enters every room before you, speaking your worth or your doubt before you have uttered a single word. You have learned the great tragedy of faking it, that the universe is a flawless mirror, not an audience to be fooled, that it does not reward your words, but your vibration, that it reflects your truth, not your performance. You have learned that the true seat of power, the faithful, giant servant, is your subconscious mind, that this servant who speaks the language of feeling has been obediently building a life that matches your old, dominant, emotional commands. You have learned to erase the poverty sentence written for you by a well-meaning but broke past the lies that taught you that wealth was bad or greedy or unavailable. You have learned the sacred, secret art of practicing the feeling of wealth before it arrives, the art of the thermostat, not the thermometer, the art of being the beggar in the palace who is so comfortable in his new identity that he becomes the king. You have learned to curate your environment, to leave the poisonous tavern of the complainers, and to build a master mind of power, a sanctuary for your future self. You have learned to build the four mighty pillars of your new identity, the indomitable certainty of your applied faith, the unshakable calm of the captain in the storm, the absolute congruence of your thoughts, words, and actions, and the divine, activating power of contribution. And you have learned that you will be tested, that the furnace of adversity is not a punishment but your graduation, that the delay tests your certainty, that the mockery of others tests your congruence, and that the final, desperate scream of your old self is the death rattle of the prisoner you are leaving behind. You have learned all of this. This is not just a motivational speech. It is not an idle philosophy. This is a spiritual blueprint. This is a manual for energetic mastery. So, here is my final charge to you. Do not dare walk back into your life the same. Do not return to the person you were an hour ago. That person is dead. That identity is shed. That poverty sentence has been erased. Do not return to your low-frequency habits. Do not return to the habit of complaint, which is the prayer for lack. Do not return to the habit of gossip, which is the affirmation of insecurity. Do not return to the habit of worry, which is the misuse of your imagination, the active rehearsal of failure. Do not return to the habit of small talk, which is the conscious agreement to remain in a low vibration, mediocre collective. Do not return to the habit of shrinking, of dimming your light to make a room full of prisoners feel more comfortable. Do not ask the world, or your boss, or your spouse, or your social media feed to validate your worth. Validation is your job, not theirs. To ask them for it is to hand them the throne of your mind. It is to make the mirror your master. It is to prove to your subconscious mind that you are not the source. And do not, ever again, beg for crumbs when you were built to bake the feast. The beggar chases, the beggar hopes, the beggar competes. The king, the master, creates. He knows. He attracts. That is the old world. This is the new. Instead, here is your new commandment. Let every room you enter feel your presence, not your arrogance. That is the old self, faking it. But your pillars, let them feel your certainty. Let them feel that you are a person who knows where they are going. Let them feel your calm. Let them feel that you are the eye of the storm, the captain who can be trusted. Let them feel your congruence. Let them feel that you are whole, that you are real, that you are not a performance. Let them feel your contribution. Let them feel your warmth, your presence, your service. Let them feel that you are there to give, not just to get. Let every action you take reflect your new alignment. Your congruence must be your new religion. Your life must become the prayer. When you say you will do a thing, you do it. Not to impress others, but to prove to your own subconscious that your word is law. When you practice the feeling of abundance, you act with generosity. You tip well. You give freely. You prove to the mirror that you are. Overflow. When you build your master mind, you protect it. You refuse to poison it with gossip or doubt. Your action of loyalty proves your new identity. And when the tests come, and they will come, you will have your answers ready. When doubt, that whisper of the old self, the ghost of the beggar, whispers in your ear, "It's not working, you're a fool," you will answer it not with words. You will answer it with action. You will do the work. You will make the call. You will write the chapter. You will show up. Action is the proof of faith. Action is the declaration of congruence. Action is the command that slams the door on the whisper of doubt. When fear, that shout of the old program, the terror of the prisoner seeing the open door, when that fear shouts at you, you will answer it with faith, not hope, not wishing, but applied faith, the trained muscle, the disciplined feeling. You will stand on your pillar of certainty. You will be the captain. You will hold the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You will remember that the storm is a circumstance, but you are the master of the ship. Your calm is the weapon that dissolves the fear. And when they, the guardians of your old prison, the complainers in the tavern, when they mock your growth, when they say, "You've changed," when they gossip about your new ambition, you will not fight them. You will not defend yourself. You will not shrink. You will smile, and you will expand anyway. You will expand because they are mocking you. Their mockery is the proof that you are winning. It is the validation that your new signal is so strong that it is disrupting their old frequency. You will thank them, silently, for being the evidence of your own transformation, because you must, finally, understand the most profound truth of all. You are not becoming something new. You are not building an identity that is not yours. You are remembering. You are remembering who you were before the world told you to forget. You are remembering who you were before your parents, in their love, gave you their fears. You are remembering who you were before society handed you the poverty sentence and told you it was yours. The beggar was the lie. The prisoner was the performance. The imposter was the imposter. You, the king, the master, the creator, that is the truth. You are not faking wealth. You are remembering your native state of abundance. You are not acting confident. You are reclaiming your divine birthright of certainty. You were born magnetic. You were born abundant. You were born chosen by yourself to be the conscious creator of your own reality. Now, finally, it is time to walk as if you know it. It is time to stop studying this. It is time to be this. The wealth you seek, the love you seek, the opportunities you seek, the life you seek, it isn't out there. Somewhere you must find it. It isn't something you must chase. It is orbiting you right now. It is stacked up in the invisible, all around you, pressing in, just waiting. Waiting for what? It is waiting for the signal. It is waiting for the frequency. It is waiting for the alignment. It is waiting for the king to finally sit on the throne. It is waiting for you. So, here is your final command. Set the signal. Train your aura. Train your personal magnetism. Hold the feeling. Stand on your pillars. Be the person. And let the world, at last, chase you. The work we have done today is the most important work of your life, the complete mastery of your own mind. But this discourse is not an end. It is a beginning. This channel is your master mind. It is your daily forge. It is the place you return to sharpen your mind, to strengthen your pillars, and to reinforce the signal of your new magnetic self. If you are committed to this journey, if you refuse to return to the cold, familiar prison of your past, then join us, subscribe to this channel, and turn on your notifications, for this is your new environment. This is your new home. And finally, this knowledge must be shared. The law of contribution demands it. Think of one person, just one, who is still trapped in the tavern of the complainers, who is still living under their old poverty sentence. Share this blueprint with them, not to convince them, but to offer them the key. This is the Napoleon Hill philosophy in action. This is the work, and our work has only just begun.